a service of CNC Worldwide.
The Daily Podcast is a service of CNC News, and it's brought to you by the Greece Chamber of Commerce, providing more than 800 member companies with business solutions since 1984. The University of Rochester is committing $50 million to expand its work in the field of data science. University President Joel Seligman said that's on top of more than $50 million the U of R has already spent in recent years. The university is setting up an institute for data science to be housed in its own new building and staffing it with as many as 20 new faculty members with expertise in the field. Seligman spoke at the opening of the Rochester Big Data Forum 2013 on Friday, a national conference in Rochester. Big data is a simple term for everything that's out there in the digital world. Quintillions of individual bytes of data that record everything about us and how we live. Data science has been learning to sift that Mount Everest of unrelated information to find patterns, and that is the foundation of everything from personalized medical treatment to the NSA's spy programs that track down terrorists. It's one of the fastest growing sciences, like it or not. New York State Republicans spent some time this week trying to convince celebrity businessman Donald Trump to run for governor next year against Democrat Andrew Cuomo. But the Donald appears to have decided that's not for him. Trump tweeted to his followers Friday morning, "Thanks for all the great support, but I just don't see myself wanting to run for governor of New York. I have something else in mind." And if they want to go the reality show route, maybe Chef Gordon Ramsay is available. A political action committee's effort to overturn New York's limit on personal campaign contributions has been rejected, at least for now. New York puts a $150,000 cap on the amount any one person can give to a political campaign. A federal court judge has denied a preliminary injunction sought by the New York Progress and Protection PAC to overturn that law. This case is being heard in the Southern District of New York, which is in Manhattan. State Attorney General Eric Schneiderman said this was a victory for those who believe every voter should have an equal voice in our democracy. The case itself, however, continues. Governor Andrew Cuomo has signed a bill that allows farms in New York to get hard cider making licenses, similar to those for farm wineries, breweries, and distilleries. The farm cidery law came out of the State Wine, Beer, and Spirits Summit earlier this year, and it comes during Cider Week, which promotes locally produced apples and cider around New York. The State Comptroller's Office has flagged New York's Empire State Development Corporation for hiring the executive director of the New York State Council on the Arts for cultural tourism services. Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli said the contract position for former council director Heather Hitchens was nothing but a means to circumvent the state salary cap on her job. This goes back to 2007, when former Governor Eliot Spitzer named Hitchens to head the council. State law capped her salary at just under $110,000 a year, but the EDC paid her an extra $2,100 a month. DiNapoli said the work Hitchens did for the EDC was already part of her job description, and the state agency violated its own rules by paying her extra to do it. His report tells the agency to get that extra money back. It amounts to about $75,000 before taxes. A report on the economic impact of the 95th PGA Championship at Oak Hill Country Club says the event generated a good 25% more economic benefit to the Rochester economy than expected. The Greater Rochester Enterprise released its economic analysis of the summer event. It believes, based on computer models, that the PGA brought more than $102 million to the local economy. GRE President Mark Peterson said they're confident those numbers are accurate. He said they took the PGA's own attendance and sales figures and they plugged them into a computer model that economists commonly use to arrive at their estimate. More than 225,000 people attended the event at Oak Hill. 70,000 of them came from outside the Rochester area. They booked about 5,000 hotel rooms, and while they were in town, they spent more than $58 million. Several cars of a CSX rail freight train came off the tracks near Linden Road in Fairport about 5:30 Friday morning. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office said 7 cars loaded with soybeans derailed. Nobody was injured. For the second time this week, a vehicle went through the side of a building in the Rochester area, and for the second time, police think alcohol was a factor. A pickup truck went through the front wall of Cam's Pizzeria in Ogden about 1:15 Friday morning. Ogden police said the driver crossed the center line on Route 31, left the road, and crashed into the building. The driver wasn't injured, but there was extensive structural damage, and the driver has been arrested. And a spectacular multi-alarm fire destroyed a 3-story stone building in the village of Albion last night, Thursday night. The fire at the Orleans Pallet Company on West Avenue sent a pillar of smoke high into the air and caused authorities to order nearby residents to shelter in place with their doors and windows closed. The concern was that the building, which was mainly being used as a warehouse, was close to another building where chemicals were stored. Firefighters pumped water from the Erie Canal. They had 7 hose lines running on that fire. The Albion Police Department says crews using a cutoff tool to sever some old pipes apparently sparked the fire. The building will have to be demolished. To the left of the player window, you'll find links to these and other stories, and at the bottom of the page, links you can use to post news and information directly to us. Next News Podcast is As It Happens. Updates are as necessary, and I am Bud Lowell, CNC News.